Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to another episode of Embrace Your Life Chat, where the intention is to focus on heightening celebrations and lessening sorrows through a positive focus. I am Carol C.C. Miller, your positive life strategist, peace activator, and global hugger. And as you can see, I have a guest, which I'm going to introduce to you in a moment here. And the conversation that we'll be discussing today. But before we do that, I do like to go over a couple of things. And one is I'm not an absolutist. I'm not a big fan of the words always, never, right, wrong. There are 8 billion people. Somebody pointed that out last week that I've been saying 7 billion, but there's actually 8 billion people now on this planet. I can't begin to know what is right or wrong for 8 billion people. So I work on the majority of the time. 0 being always negative, 100 being always positive. I don't know anybody at 0, and I don't know anybody at 100. Know people who are closer to both of those. And my personal work is to be in the 80 to 100% of the time, kind, loving, compassionate, peaceful, and positive. So fear visits me, disappointment, frustration, all the normal things, stress that we'll be talking about today, all of those normal things visit me, but my daily practices allow me to stay in that 80 to 100% the majority of the time. And what we'll be discussing today is one of those tools that I do use as well. So keep that in mind. Secondly, I am a coach. I love supporting people in living their best life, whatever that looks like. I am not a counselor, nor am I a therapist. And sometimes to live your best life, getting that type of support is what's going to get you there faster. I just encourage you to find your support system, whether it's me coaching, my guest today is a coach, or whether it's finding counseling, maybe it's your best friend. Whatever it is to create that team around you that is going to support you in living your best life. And today we're going to be talking about how to find the peace even when things seem chaotic in the world, in your own personal life. And we have a tool that Paul will be discussing with that for you here. So Paul, welcome, welcome. I thought I saved a little bio of you to read, but I can't find it now. So guess what? Introduce yourself and tell us about the work of Byron Katie that we're going to be talking
Thank you, Carol. It's fine. Most of that stuff that's in a bio is kind of surface stuff anyway. It isn't the true person. And that's kind of what I want to talk about today is when we talk about returning to peace or finding peace, we often are looking for peace out in the circumstances of our lives and changing what we see out there and then changing the people around us or the events or whatever it is that's out there. And I grew up believing that too and being taught that and trained that. And I looked for my peace in other people, in approval, in escape from what looked like chaos, like I'll insulate myself, I'll run away, or I'll defeat it, all those kind of strategies. And what I found over time is they don't work. You keep
they don't last for sure.
They really don't ultimately get you to the peace that you're seeking for. And the work of Byron Katie is something that turned that around for me. I was seeking peace in my job, in my relationship, in my family, in my health and fitness and all of that stuff. And I got to a point in my life, this is a while ago now, probably almost 20 years ago now, where all of that was falling apart. And I discovered Katie's book, Loving What Is. And I thought to myself, how can you love what is when it's all falling apart? And I think that's kind of what you're talking about now. We can look out on the world, and we can look out at war and political chaos and division and strife, poverty, global warming, natural disasters. I mean, there's just a list of things. And if you're not sure you have a complete list, just turn on your TV or go on your computer and pay attention for a little bit while, and you'll get informed of all of those things that are wrong.
Yeah.
And that's where always that sense of chaos comes from. And I was in the same place. What I discovered in the work, what Katie originally discovered, is that all of that chaos, all of that stress is self-created. I mean, we have thoughts about what we're witnessing, what we're seeing. Sometimes we're given those thoughts, like the media is really good at that. Be afraid of this. Hate these people. They kind of tell us, suggest to us, here's how you can be chaotic. And if you want
Fear is
more,
enticing, yeah.
but what we find in the work is we identify those stressful thoughts that we're having, fearful thoughts, anxious thoughts, thoughts of it's not right, it's not okay, I'm not safe, that's wrong, they're attacking me, they're going to hurt me. We find those thoughts. We actually don't run away from them. We identify them. We write them down. And then we use a process of inquiry to question the thoughts. And there are 4 simple questions. Learn them in 5 minutes. Applying them is a spiritual practice, but learn them quickly. Question number 1, is that thought true? Like, we have a lot of things going through our heads all the time. And if we actually stop, those of you who are meditators, who actually have learned to observe your thoughts, there's a constant stream, right? And a lot of them we didn't make up. We borrowed them from other people, and we borrowed them from our parents, our teachers, our leaders. And they may be like, I'm not good enough. The world's not a safe place. I need to have more money. I need to lose weight. I need to have a better relationship. I need to have a better car, a better house, whatever it is. That we identify those thoughts, and then we ask the first question, is that true? I'm thinking it, and I often automatically, most of us, most of the time, automatically believe that they're true, but have we really asked the question? Is it true? So that's just a yes or no. And then we go to question 2. Can we absolutely know that it's true? And again, yes or no. Then the third question, this is the heart of what I believe really helps us in the work, is how do I react? What happens to me when I believe that thought? Whether it's true or not, if I believe the world is not a safe place, what happens to me when I believe that? Well, I notice for me, I contract. I get scared. I withdraw emotionally. I see a secondary emotional reaction of anger that it's that way, and anger at specific aspects of the world that I think are unsafe, whether it's
the examples of it, yeah.
Right? The weather, the global warming, the crime, whatever it is, the politics, it's not safe. I start having images come to me of all of those things, and I react to those images. And that may be a physical reaction as well as emotional reaction.
Right.
My heart rate speeds up, my breathing gets more rapid, I tense up, I notice that I get a kind of sour feeling in my stomach. I get tension in my throat and shoulders, and there's a physical reaction that I experience. But there also is how I treat myself. I treat myself as weak and as a victim and as needing protection, and I have to be wary and cautious, and I see all the times I wasn't, and I start doubting my abilities. All of that happens, how I treat myself. How do I treat other people? Fearfully. I'm afraid of them. I want to withdraw. The world's unsafe. I better stay home. Lock my doors. That may be the way I react. Now, not everybody reacts the way I do. Everybody has their unique answer to number 3, and it may change over time. Today, I may react one way, tomorrow a different way, but it's generally pretty negative. Now I get to question 4. Who would I be without that thought? If I'm not believing the world is a dangerous place, who am I right now in this moment? And I notice right now I'm okay. I happen to be in a beautiful spot in the world, visiting family and enjoying my life. My breathing is calm. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to other people. Everything's fine. I'm actually physically calmer. Emotionally, I'm more at peace. Who would I be without that thought? I return to my natural state. This peace that we're seeking or trying to return to is actually a natural state that exists within us, always waiting, always kind of silently, stillness in the stillness, waiting for us to wake up and return to it. It's like, hey, Paul, take your time, be scared as much as you want,
I'm
but
here
when you're ready, I'm
for
here.
you. Yeah.
And that's how our internal peace is, also our internal wisdom, our internal sense of love and gratitude, and all this that you focus on in positive focus is really who we actually are. That's why question 4 is, who would you be without that thought? So I look at that, and now that helps loosen the grip of that
Yeah.
thought on me, right? Like in a kind of unconscious way, which most of us spend most of the time kind of unconscious, reacting, going through life. Here comes the thought, world is a dangerous place. And we just react to it as if it is absolutely true. And we kind of have the experience of its truth in that moment, right? We get fearful, we withdraw. We actually are living our life out of that belief. And that's what we experience. And you may know people who um, have done this, and it kind of can spiral into this withdrawing place. I think a lot of people experience that with the pandemic, right? The
Right.
world is a dangerous place. There's germs everywhere. I'm going to get sick if I go out. And just for a moment, discarding the politics of masking and vaccinating and all that stuff, and think about what that does to people psychologically. Like if they believe, I can't go outside, I can't go to the market, I can't go to my friend's house or my mother's house or my son's house. Now, those are the 4 questions. We also do something in the work called the turnarounds. I love the turnarounds. The turnarounds are a way of experiencing various opposites of the
I
original
love some
thought.
of the turnarounds. A couple of them are a little challenging to come up with, but
I know, I know. Well, that's how turnarounds are, and there's a couple of aspects to that. But really, what the way I like to think of the turnarounds is when we have a thought, like let's say the original thought, the world is a dangerous place. It's like we're putting on a pair of glasses, and when we look out at the world, what we see is the evidence that's consistent with that thought, that proves that thought. We
right.
see the danger in the world, and it confirms we're right about this. We see the proof of it. Now, with the turnarounds, we turn it around to an opposite. So, one opposite might be the world isn't a dangerous place. That's a direct opposite, right? So, that's like taking off the glasses that the world is a dangerous place, putting on new glasses that say the world isn't a dangerous place. Now, I'm just going to look for evidence of that. Oh, there's this beautiful tree out my window right here, and it's not dangerous to me. The sun's shining.
Yeah, and
It's not
even
dangerous.
in the dangerous part, helpers come out. Like people come out to support you in whatever those challenges you're going through. So you can find that too.
Right. And we just look for the evidence of that. Now,
Yeah.
here's another turnaround, the turnaround to the self. I am a dangerous place to me.
Mm.
Or another way to think about that is my thinking is a dangerous place. And it is. I have the experience when I believe that thought, it's dangerous to me. I get fearful. I get reactive. I get judgmental about them and fearful of them and of the world. And so it's my thinking that's really a dangerous place. That's a different lens to put on. Like, how do I make the world a dangerous place? How is my thinking
Right.
a dangerous place? Oh, when I'm afraid, when I'm judgmental, when I'm believing and doubting myself and not trusting my wisdom, my inner peace, my love. Now, here's another turnaround, the turnaround to the other. I am a dangerous place to the world. What might that mean? My carbon footprint is more than it should be, as an example.
Even your anger, like that emulates out. So
Beautiful, beautiful example. Like when I get angry and I spew that out at the driver in the next lane, I'm making the world a dangerous place for that guy.
right.
Right? Or I'm upset because I didn't sleep well last night and I, remark uncivilly to the clerk in the gas station or in the grocery store. I'm making the world a more dangerous place. I'm not bringing my true nature to the world, which is actually what we are designed to do, what we do naturally when we're not believing what we're thinking. So, from the perspective of the work, from Byron Katie's perspective, we don't have to earn the peace. We don't have to find the peace. The peace is already there. What we need to do is identify what's inhibiting our awareness of it. That's typically a thought. Question it. Is it true? Can I absolutely know that's true? How do I react? That's what's keeping me. One of the ways I react is I lose awareness of my inner peace. When I think
Right.
the world's a dangerous place, I have no access to that. Would I be without it? I'm aware of it again. I have access to it again. So I'm not finding something or trying to create something that doesn't already exist. I'm just returning to what is natural by
And inquiring about it. Yeah.
finding what's getting in the way, inquiring about it. And then when that thought releases me, the peace returns. I don't find it, it finds me, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. And I have a question for you that I'm pretty sure I know. Well, I know the answer for how I take it in. And this is certainly a thought. So I'm already Byron Katie myself on it. But the work is very self reflective and in an aspect can almost seem, it's probably not the right word, but selfish. Let's give the example. There is war going on right now. There are people truly in danger in this moment. I'm not one of them, but when you look at the bigger perspective, how does the work? I know my answer and I'll share it after. I just curious as to how Katie explains that situation because there is tragedy going on in the world today.
So we see Katie has she's got all these great quotes, all these famous sayings that I just love, and one of them is all war belongs on paper.
Okay.
So the first step that we encounter is looking out and seeing that there's war. There's war in Ukraine. There's war in some other places in the world that aren't getting as much publicity.
Right.
Let's just talk about Ukraine right now. So there's war in Ukraine. So we're looking at that and we're seeing that there's drone strikes and missile strikes and soldiers and utility outages and people without heat and food and casualties being killed. And there's the Russian side arguing and the
Hmm.
Ukrainian side, and everybody else in the world lining up on one side or the other. And we can, from my perspective, I can have a lot of judgments about that. Starting with there shouldn't be that war. That shouldn't be happening.
Right.
Or it may be, depending on my focus, that I see Putin as the enemy and the one that's causing all of it, right? If you're on the Russian side, you think about that differently. You have a different enemy and a different person that you're saying is causing the problem. But we all see that. What we do is we identify that judgment, we write it down. Putin's causing the war. Write it down on paper, and we do the same process again. Now, the process doesn't necessarily end the conflict on the ground in Ukraine, but it can help me find peace.
Okay.
And who is better off helping the situation in Ukraine? One who's angry or one who's at peace?
Yeah.
Because there's two ways to go help, right?
Right.
It's
Absolutely.
like the classic situation of the peace marchers who are at war, who are fighting
Right.
whatever their other side is at the moment, right? They're
What is
beating up.
that famous? It's a famous Mother Teresa quote, and I'm totally going to butcher it. But it was something about if you have an anti-war rally, I will not come. But if you have a pro-peace rally, I will be there.
Perfect example of, you don't gain peace by fighting
Fighting it,
something
yeah.
else, right? So we look at the situation. Now, what's interesting is when I think Putin's the enemy, he's evil, and I'm not trying to justify him or
Right.
agree with his approach at all. But what I can do is look at my judgments of him and ask, is it true? I could be absolutely yes. He's evil and a dictator and creating chaos in the world. Can I absolutely know that that's true? Yes, for me, that's true. For me, that's true. I
Right.
can't necessarily prove it in a court of law, but in
But for
my
you, yeah.
estimation, it's true. How do I react when I believe that? A couple things happen for me. Different people are going to react. First of all, I'm angry. I'm upset with him. I'm trying to find ways to stop him, to have revenge on him, to get our government to stop him, to go to war. I want
Right.
to bomb him and
In your
kill
mind,
him.
you are at
In
war.
my
Yeah.
mind, I'm attacking him. Who would I be without that thought? I'm still observing the war, but I'm in a less judgmental place and a more calm place. Now turn the thought around. Putin is evil and creating chaos in the world. I am evil and creating chaos.
Mm.
Where do I do that? Well, I can find examples where I do that in my family, in my workplace, where I get upset and I create evil in my environment. I create chaos in my environment. And and it's not right or wrong. I just notice I do it and I notice why I do it. I'm
And it's not
scared.
necessarily the same scale, but it's still within.
Not at all, but
Right.
I'm just looking for examples of how do I do that, and how do I do that with Putin when I attack him and try
Right.
to seek revenge on him, and how does that help in the world? And I go through the turnarounds. Now, I still might not be ending the conflict, but I'm ending the conflict in me, and from a place of more peace and more clarity, I can see a number of ways to really help. There are some fantastic charities and
Mhm.
organizations that are helping with food distribution in the Ukraine and in other parts of the world that are whose food supply is disrupted by the war.
Right.
I can see there's also some phenomenal organizations that are helping with refugees and immigrants that are coming out of there. I I have a friend, my barber that I've had for 30 years, who's from the Ukraine and has family there. And supporting him is another way I can act personally. And what I notice is when I'm at peace, those things are more visible to me
Right.
and I'm more in action with them. When I'm at war, hating Putin and blaming him, and I'm stuck. I'm in this angry place. We get sold the idea that you must be angry in order to change something that's wrong. It's not true. Actually, think about it from this perspective. If you're hurting, if you're suffering, do you want help from another suffering person or for someone who's at peace? I want help from someone who's at peace, who's going to
Right.
help me. Another suffering person doesn't help me. And when war is going on, another at war person, me, doesn't help that. I just add to the amount of conflict in the world. Where does peace begin? Begins with me. I think that's another famous quote. I
Yeah.
start with me, I work on me, and then from a place of peace, I can take action in the world. That's the same thing with addressing poverty or
Yeah.
addressing drug addiction or anything else. Do we have to get angry, or can we find peace? And the work is a way to find the peace. That's what we're talking about today, kind of returning to the peace. Then from a place of peace, I would love to have 1 million people, 1 billion people return to peace and then be acting out of peace to help immigrants and stop war
Right.
and help with food shortages and things like that. Peaceful people, that's what we're about. That's what you're about, Carol, with Positive Focus. Find your own peace, then from that place of peace, impact the world. So
Well,
that's my
and that's
answer.
well, and that was exactly how because I'm very passionate about world issues. And if I allow my frustration and disappointment and anger take over, I am a firm believer on what I focus on, I give the energy to grow. So if I'm focusing on anger and frustration, I am building that up within myself and anyone who's around me who gets to listen to me spew about how horrible blah 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 is. So it
right.
really is.
And on the other hand, when you're at peace and you're positive, like you are most of the time, you're
Yeah,
also inspiring other people that way because they're seeing, oh, look, there's this person. In other words, if I want peace in the world, show people, not
right.
teach them, show people what peace looks like in this world. How do I do that? I got to return to my natural state and be
Yeah.
that in the world. And, that's what I get to do, when I
And
work with
that's what I
people.
remind myself of because it really is about reflecting out what you want. And another way to say it that I've said in other talks, it is to channel that frustration, that anger, or whatever into positive solutions rather than channeling that frustration and anger on the problem. And when we're
Yeah,
angry, we're usually focused. Maybe you can focus on the solutions while you're angry. I've not found that to be true for myself. So it's really about stepping into who do I want to be and how do I want to show up in the world.
right.
And
And
this
I
is a
and I
great
think
tool to get there.
that channeling that you're talking about, what I love about the work is it provides that channel.
The tool, yeah.
It's a tool to take the anger, the frustration, the judgment, and not deny it. We're not saying we don't have that judgment. I think
Right,
Putin's an evil jerk, and but I don't deny that I think that, right? I
right,
embrace that, put that down on paper, ask the questions, be open-minded about it now, because I'm in the service of peace. I'm wanting to
Mhm.
get back to my own peace. That's stopping me. So I'm going to inquire, is it true? Can I absolutely know it? Who would I be? How do I react when I believe it? Who would I be without it? Turn it around, get back to my peace. And now the energy is positive. I've transformed that internally from judgment to a peaceful place and now into action. What we normally do is we just go from judgment to action.
Right.
And then we're not transforming anything. We're just giving back more of
Of
what
what we don't like. Yeah.
we don't want. We're adding to the chaos and the violence and the judgment. Judgments are violent, right?
I have enjoyed our conversations for many, many years now and love the work. I have to say, switching it to talking about returning to peace has been a game changer for me. I mean, that's what I focus on anyway, but I'm thinking back on conversations we had about a particular person I used to work with and
Yeah.
how we would do. I'm like, I'm not ready to not be mad anymore. And even though I kind of joke with you about that, I'm in my head thinking I was choosing to be mad instead of returning to my own peace when that
Yeah.
wasn't impacting the other person, it was impacting me.
Well,
So,
and I
yeah,
think one of the things that has emerged for me from for doing the work from doing the work for years is this idea that you have a choice, that you're making a choice all the time, right?
right.
To believe it or not to believe it. Like that person is
And it
running.
could be a hard choice, but it's still a
It could
choice.
be a hard choice, but it's a harder choice when you don't even know you're making the choice,
Right.
right? And what the work at least brings to our awareness is when I make the choice, I feel this way. When I don't make the choice, I feel that way. Okay, I still might make the choice, but I know there's a difference there, and I can start to see, oh, there is a choice. I may not always want to make it. I might not always be aware of it, but I believe that there is a choice. So, anyway, Carol, it's been wonderful. I've got to run, but I'm going to,
Yes, thank you so much. I'm going to let you go and then I will close up shop for the day.
okay.
I will definitely be back on Thursday, but talk to you next month. Keep those travels going and congrats on that grandbaby.
Okay. Thank you, Carol. Enjoy your time in Florida. Bye
Thank you.
bye.
Talk to you soon.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
So that's just a great reminder, everyone, that choices can be hard. Some things that we want to change in our lives or in the world are hard, but the more that we're putting out what we don't want and we're focused on what we don't want and we're thinking about and we're talking about and we're acting upon what we don't want, we're allowing it to grow. Keep in mind that the don't wants, there are consequences to our actions, there are consequences to other people's actions. So I'm not about saying pretend it didn't happen and just move on, but it is about focusing more on, again, not an absolutist, more on what you do want in your life rather than what you don't want on your life. And thank you, Joel, for joining. I was trying to break in and say hi to you earlier. I don't know if you're still around or not, but please think about the work. You can go on to YouTube, type in Byron Katie, and you can find bunches of different videos of her doing the work. It's an amazing tool to use. Or her website is thework.com. And I've not been on the website for a while, but there is a place that you can go and have a phone call with somebody like Paul, who is certified in the work, and do the actual work with somebody live on the phone. And there's also some worksheets you can download on that website as well to use for free. So I will be back on Thursday. If you have any ideas of topics that you would like me to discuss to help heighten celebrations and lessen sorrows through a positive focus, please put them in the chat. I don't see any chatting going on today. It might be that I'm not seeing it. It might be that nobody's here to chat with. I don't know which one it is, but I do come back later and look later in the day to see if there are any other comments to address. I will be here Thursday at noon Central Time. Not sure topic, but it will be to help heighten celebrations and lessen sorrows through a positive focus. My one update for today is it's 115 days, plenty of time, but why not sign up now to Global Free Hugs 2023? It will be the weekend of May 5th through 7th. It will be wherever you are in the world. I'm going to put in here, where is it at, Carol? it is right here. I'm going to put in a link to my link tree that shows all the different ways that you can connect with me. And it has the sign up form for Global Hugs and the information about Global Hugs. So right now I have one continent, 2 countries, Canada and the US, and 4 US states. We have huggers, me in Illinois, somebody in Tennessee, somebody in North Carolina, and somebody in Arizona. I know it's really early, but go out there and spread some love and share some kindness in this big, beautiful, and messy world. I will be back Thursday. I hope you have a wonderful day. And remember, you matter. You matter to me. You matter to the world. And most importantly, you matter to you. So take care, and we'll talk soon. So long for now.